Hello everyone, welcome to Inside Widnes. It's episode 3. I'm joined by the Anton Deck of Widnes Vikings, Sean Hayes, Sam Whyte, the club's media team. Got on this side of the camera for once. How does that feel?
Well, I'd rather be on that side of the camera.
Face for radio,
exactly
Sam.
Exactly that.
And I'm the one that everyone says, "Oh, who's that boring voice behind the camera?" That's totally me.
So now they can put a face to the name and to the voice.
Unfortunately, so.
Sam, start with you. Just let us know a little bit, or tell the people what your role is and how, and we'll talk about how they differ between the both of you.
Yeah, so my role between me and Sean, obviously, we kind of integrate between each other and kind of split the role down the middle. But a lot of the stuff I do naturally, just because it interests me, and Sean does other things, is that a lot of the video content and the social media stuff. He's sort of over my reign, and there's Photoshop and the graphics and stuff like that, and primarily dealing with the performance side of things, which has been mostly my area, while Sean has looked at other sides of the club. But in a reshuffle, we've kind of integrated it a bit more, but that is mainly me.
Yeah, when I first started out, it was more commercial and community focus, and obviously with everything that's gone on, we've picked up different things. I still take a lead on commercial stuff, so we'll work closely with Dave Rolt and come up with different social media assets that we can go to businesses with, and like the sleep tight beds man and a match, stuff like that we can sell, and we can provide feedback as to how well they're going, and obviously giving statistics on the different bits of stuff we're doing on social media through that. Obviously still doing community stuff, but more focusing on the written word, more communication stuff through me, and obviously Sam does the videos to support him. And
collectively we've had to take on the marketing between us, obviously with the reshuffles and everything that's gone on. Me and him have kind of had to learn on the go, so to speak, because obviously we both come from journalism backgrounds, so we know how to write and know how to do that side of things, but we're slowly trying to improve that side of things, because I think that's a massive area for us.
Yeah, and like the commercial piece, I know, Sean, you did that. There was an infographic, wasn't there, where you pushed out, we'll talk about the video, the kit launch and stuff later on, but that you pushed out, and that's a real, social media is really important, isn't it, for getting not only the fans in, but also supporting the commercial as well.
Yeah, definitely. Businesses want to get as much reach as we're doing, so if, the followers that we've got on our social platforms are vital to them as well, and if we can evidence that it's going well, the campaigns that we're running for them, I think one of the things that we're looking to repair is the relationship between those businesses, and myself and Sam play a key role in that, and we're hoping to leave a lasting effect on the new partners that we've got, and hopefully keeping them for next season and beyond.
Yeah, because I suppose in many ways with social media especially, you're the guys who are talking to the fans all the time and managing that relationship on a day-to-day basis, so that makes social media quite important to what the club's trying to do overall.
Yeah, well, I think rugby league in general, not all clubs, but I think they kind of undervalue the importance of social media now, and how easy of a channel that is for you to access your supporters, engage opinion and convey information. I think it's underutilised elsewhere, but we see it as our key communication. So obviously budgets and stuff aren't huge here, so we've got to try and access things a little differently and do things probably differently that other clubs can just easily do. So social media is vital for us, and we take pride in it. I think the numbers reflect how hard we actually do work on it.
And that actual getting back to people who tweet or Facebook at you is another big thing, because I know of clubs, or I know of other people or other marketing people who are quite against clubs speaking back to the fans, whereas that's something that you guys are trying to develop all the time.
Yeah, definitely, and sometimes it's tough that when results aren't going our way, and when we pick up the phone, we're getting the notifications through, and sometimes it's tough to try and distance yourself from it and not take it personally, but it's something that we've grown on through the role, and obviously there's good days and there's bad days. You've got to take it. It's part and parcel of being where we are and what we do, but we try and be as open and honest with all the supporters, when we can get back to them, and we try and give them an answer to everything that we can, and I think we've improved on that, and we can still improve on that, but it's something that we take pride in. Yeah.
You mentioned good and bad days, of course. 2019 there was some bad days, and then you got to work at Wembley, so I mean, what was that? You probably won't have a much more contrast in the year than that in your old careers.
Yeah, if you'd have probably told us 12 months ago that exactly how the year would have panned out, we'd have probably laughed, we'd have probably left, to be fair. But it's exposed me and Sean to loads of different things that obviously the administration obviously is something that you don't ever want to be involved in again, but going to Wembley and dealing with admin and dealing with a new board and all that kind of stuff. So although it's been tough and there's been long hours for I think it's been rewarding for both of us at the same time that we've been exposed to these things and we can kind of learn and move on from that.
Yeah, there's a lot that we would have been shut off from in the past, and it was more all hands on deck, and we were helping out with a lot of different things, and it's helped shape how we've gone about some of the stuff that we've implemented since then. And like Sam said, getting to Wembley at the end, it was, although the day didn't come our way, something that we'll all remember for the rest of our lives. And it was kind of worth getting through the start of the season to get to that. And on a personal level, watching my team play at Wembley and reporting on that was something that I'll never be able to forget. And what a moment that was.
The R League app is one of the big drivers from the RFL at the moment, and you two guys are pretty critical in ensuring Widnes are maximising that. Just explain to us a little bit about how that impacts what you do for the club.
So the return on investment in terms of what we can directly impact is in terms of social media. So at the moment it's just Facebook and Twitter, our website views and database, so such as email databases and stuff like that. So that is something we can have a direct impact on. So it's why really on social media we're so active, because where we are as a club now, it's easy funding that we can gain for something that we spend a lot of time on anyway. So as Phil's mentioned in previous ones, we got full funding. So he's mentioned Members Monday, I mentioned it to you as well, James. Got full funding on that, and we're top in the championship in everything across all areas, which is something we're proud of. But then also we're 7th in British Rugby League. So the Super League teams and everything else were 7th overall in terms of numbers and everything else. So as long as we can maintain that level and in terms of database size and everything else, then that's massively important. That's easy money for the club and something that obviously impacts on us. So,
and we obviously get our league members is another one for us to focus on, and since the start of the year we've grown it quite a lot. We've put a lot of effort into driving our fans down to that app and getting them to sign up. Obviously we've done a kit launch on there that was something that no one had ever done before. At the start of the year when me and Sam looked at it, we had just under 2,000 members. We're nearing 6,000 now. We're at 5,800. So we're on the heels of the likes of Lee and Bradford in our division, but we're well above the ones below us. And the RFL are putting a lot of emphasis on that. And it's not only beneficial for them, but it's beneficial for us because it gives us another database, another platform to market from. Increases our reach even more. They've got an extensive database of fans that have signed up and chosen Widnes as their favourite club. So that is vital for us when we're trying to sell tickets and season tickets and kit and stuff like that. We put a lot of effort into growing those numbers, and it's one thing that we want to continue to grow as well.
How did it come about, the kit launch being on the R League app?
I've got to give Phil Finney a lot of credit because he sat down with us. Like a lot of things that we go through with him, he has input, and he wanted to do something that we'd never done before. The kit itself was innovative in a way that it was all black, and no other club in rugby league had done that before. We knew that the fans would get behind it, and instead of using our platform for once, we wanted to drive our league members up whilst putting that launch together. So we contacted the RFL and they were more than happy for us to do it through them. We kind of got sidetracked in the end by the home and away kit launch at the start, so we put a lot of thought into it prior to, and then it crept up on us and we had to produce it under pressure. But one of the outcomes of that was to grow our league members, and obviously something that other clubs haven't done before. Rugby league's pretty diverse, and you've got clubs trying new things every single day. You've got to look at the Super League clubs who are putting emphasis into how they do their social media at the moment. So to do something on our league like that was something that had never been done before, and we wanted to be the first club to do it, and no one else will be that first club ever again.
And of course the video that I think was Sean behind
Sean
the
was the
video?
black
Because
one, yeah.
I mean, Sam's a pie eater, so Sean is the hometown, the Widnes lad sort of thing. He managed to portray a magnificent sort of. I mean, what rugby league should really be all about is the community and the heritage and stuff like that. I mean, how you must have been proud of what you put out, and also with the positive feedback that it received.
Yeah, definitely. You know, it was all about our heritage as a town. You know, we get a lot of stick being from Widnes. You know, a lot of people point the finger at us and say, you know, that we're a poor place, and you know, the smell and all that. We get a lot of stick from the surrounding areas, and we wanted to just embrace where we come from, and how vital the town has been in producing products, not only for, you know, the surrounding area in terms of materials and chemicals and stuff like that, but players. We've produced a lot of players that have gone on to gain international and honours and play for Great Britain. And you know, with the way that things went with Great Britain at the moment, we thought it was vital to showcase how important we were when things were going well for that side. So it was nice to have a hand in that and to see how well it went. You know, it wasn't without help from Sam, and obviously we got Dave's voice on there, which we weren't too happy about. We didn't have much choice.
He was on the other one as well, wasn't he? He was Dave's voice on the other one. Is he like the official narrator for videos?
Because he does nothing else, so we have to get him to do something. But
it was a prime example of you know, a piece of collaboration between a lot of different people, and you know, we all played a part in bringing it to life, and you know, to get the feedback it got, it was unbelievable.
And you've had this with a few things now. You've obviously had the other kit launches, you've had the season tickets, obviously you did stuff, you know, last season as well. I suppose it must be, you know, you mentioned about the days when obviously it's not going well and you look at your phone and you're like, oh, but it must be really good on the flip side for when you do something like that and you're getting really positive messages.
Oh, it's brilliant because it gives you a buzz then, and it kind of gives you validation that what you're doing is the right thing to do. And a big thing me and Sean and Phil, to his credit, has sat down is we want to bring that buzz back. We want to make people want to come and watch Widnes, and that's a big part of our role, is to kind of make people engaged. So the idea in the last 12 months or so has been to re-engage and make people want to be a part of what we're trying to build, because for so long, well, I've been here 3.5 years, and a lot of that, there's been the club on one side and the fans, for whatever reasons, on the other. And you'll tell me there was a disconnect. There was people not wanting to come. There was all this. There's people slagging people off back and forth, and a big effort has been made for us to try and get those people back. And the messages that we have recently in the videos and creating the club's identity has been massive for us, because if there's people not in the stands, then there's no point us doing what we're doing. So that has been a big focus for us, so the feedback's been brilliant.
And we're trying to make everything as authentic as we possibly can. We don't just want to put together a load of buzzwords and hashtags that don't really mean anything. When we sat down with the season ticket packages, pretty much everyone in the office had a hand in creating that, and we've got a core of office staff who are from Widnes or have worked there for a long time and really care about this club, and that's what we want to portray in the work that we do. We're lucky that we can be creative and showcase that in the ways that we do, and getting that message across. You know, we might have took a bit of stick for ripping off Kelly Clarkson, but the Because of You video, you know, it was paying homage to the fans who helped save the club, and trying to give a little bit back through, you know, the way that we put our season ticket packages together.
So you've had a lot of praise for the approach on social media. Is there anything in particular that you feel could be improved, or are there any areas that you're looking at improving?
Well, we mentioned earlier, obviously we don't come from a marketing background, so that's something that 100% we're looking to improve and do some training and background research on how we can do that. And one thing I think we're brilliant at is communicating with fans that we've already got. So the fans that are already on board with us, I think we're better than most. I think we're brilliant at that. But what I think we struggle with is trying to maybe go into new areas, or trying to reach people that probably don't know Widnes as well and probably don't know the club. And the problem me and Sean have had is, how do we get that out? Obviously, like budgets we mentioned before, how do we get into those areas? And we tried with a bit of offline stuff with posters and going into the time with players, into the market has been a big thing. So that side of things is, and the weekly news is a big thing as well. So that side of things is how we not just focus on social media as a marketing tool, because I think we've got that down to a T. I think that's perfect, but how we access people through other avenues is something that, for me personally, is what we need to go into, such as your own corner, or maybe out of town. I don't know.
I mean, even maybe people who've moved in. Obviously, there's been a lot of development in Widnes over the probably last decade or so. People who've moved from out of town into town who might not really know a great deal about rugby or even being engaged by the rugby club before. It's getting to them people.
Exactly. So it's a small town anyway. So we need to make the most of what we got. So that's something that in the off season me and him are trying to figure out and get sorted.
And although our marketing experience is very little at the moment, the club are working hard with us to improve our skills in that area, because it's an investment into the future of the club, and the better tools that we have to market. It'll increase the amount of people that are out there over the weekend watching the club and that are buying in week on week. So we're sitting down and looking at ways that we can improve that at the moment, and it's gonna, it's at the time it's been trial and error where we're trying new things, and some aren't pulling off, but we're looking to try and do as much as we can to increase, obviously, attendances and the people that are involved in the club.
I mean, I think even marketing experts would do trial and error. I mean, there's no perfect answer to things. Is the attendances what you'd probably measure yourself on, your success? Do you think if if the average attendance or whatever increases, is that your bottom line really? Is that what you think?
It's I would say so. Yeah, we kind of look at attendance like if we're sat in the press box, kind of crowd looks a little low. Could we have done anything a bit differently? And we tried a few things at the back end of the year and at the start of the year. Really, obviously the 10k challenge and stuff, which was really well received, and there's offers obviously in the early bird to reflect how we can get those bums on seats, because effectively that's us that's going to be driving those people there. And the season ticket numbers thankfully have gone up. They've gone up by a third more than what we were paying last year, so hopefully things are going in the right direction. But like I said, we need to get bums on seats.
And there's a lot of variables in relation to attendances, whether it be the weather, the day, who you're playing, whatever. And of course the players, I mean, you can't control what happens on the pitch. Just explain to people who are watching may understand, how does the dynamic work between a media team at a club and the players?
Well, we've got a pretty good relationship with the players and the coaching staff. I think that's improved massively over the last 12 months or so. We don't have complete access in a sense where we can just run over and grab them whenever. We have to contact them in given prior notice, but we have to stay here over a night time and film train and obviously get them when they're here, because with the moving to part time, it's become increasingly more difficult to get what we want out of them in a media sense. In the past, we could have gave them a quick call and they would have been sat at home or in the gym training, and they could have come in afterwards, but they're all out in work throughout the day. So that's something that we're I think if you look at us this time last year, we had a lot of videos going out where it was teammates and stuff like that, where we could sit down with the players and do as much as we possibly could. Where we have to be smart with our time at the moment, whether it's coming in later and staying later, or grabbing them when we can. But we do have a good relationship with them, and Sam has a lot more to do with them in terms of the rugby side of things, because that's one of the things he leads on, and I think with Tim coming in, it's helped as well.
Tim has been, just to follow on from that, in the last 12 months, the last couple of coaches have completely got on board with what me and Sean kind of wanted, because in the past we've kind of been stuck in, well, from a personal perspective, we've been doing the same things just because that's the way things have always been done that way. And Phil, to his credit, when he was in his old role, was performance director, I think it was called, and he was over there, and it was sort of, well, why are you doing it that way? That's what he was saying to me. I generally had no answer to him apart from, well, that's just the way we've always done it. So the group over there have been great with us, and the access we've had has been unprecedented, and I think people are seeing that and they feel a bit more involved and they know what's going on. So Tim understands exactly, we're not asking him to do it just to annoy you. There's a reason behind why we're getting him to do stuff, and I think he enjoys it secretly. He loves talking. He loves talking about rugby and stuff. So we're quite lucky in that sense that we've got a group of lads that are quite fun and like having a laugh with us, and sometimes it kind of takes a bit of a push to get them to do stuff, but they are brilliant with us, and Tim fully understands why we're doing stuff, so that at the minute we're in a good place with them.
And I suppose player-wise, there's quite a few new faces that maybe will be unfamiliar to the fans as well, so it's important for you guys to get and speak to them to almost show the fans what these people are about.
Yes, we've got to try and get them into a place where they want to show that side of them. So obviously they're trying to impress the teammates and the new coach as well. And obviously they've got to try and impress you guys as fans, and we've kind of got to glean that out of them. So it's making them feel comfortable and not pushing them into anything they don't want to do, and well, basically making them feel at ease. But we have, like I said, Shane Grady coming back. We've got hopefully a few things up because he's a bit of a laugh, so we've got to try and showcase.
You got like a try GIF video or something like that?
Well,
something like that.
Nothing like that as of yet, but we think he might be up for some stuff, so we've got a few things in mind. So the new lads, that's a big thing for us.
There's some good stories in there as well. Obviously Kenny Baker making the step up from North Wales, and a lot of lads that were playing in the amateur game not so long ago. You look at Dion Cross has done that as well. These are lads that want to come here and play for Widnes, and the thought of playing under Tim Sheens is it's mind blowing to some of them. So we want to showcase how much that they want to be here and how far they've come to get to where they are. So it's nice, some nice stories, with a fresh squad and some new faces. We've made some big signings as well, likes of Matty Smith and Logan Tompkins recently. So to have that mix and to show the fans, a lighter side of some of the players, it's key, and it makes them, more in touch with the supporters.
Yeah. So moving forward and looking ahead to this season or next season, what we're calling it, this season then, or is it next season?
I think it's this season.
This season, we're going this season. So looking ahead to 2020.
Yeah.
What are your aims then as a collective for you two, and then also I suppose for the club and beyond that?
Well, I think from where we're standing, I think it's to maintain the kind of output and content that we're doing in our position. Obviously, like I said before, we're quite high in our numbers and stuff. I want to maintain that, if not grow, because I think we've set ourselves a standard now where obviously we've not got the resources and everything, like we're filming on iPhones and stuff like that, but we're still producing quality content. And it's not that we don't get the praise, but I think people just kind of just expect Widnes to producing that kind of stuff. When you see other. And it's great that the Championship clubs are getting involved with stuff like that. You're seeing Dewsbury and Batley doing stuff like that. And I think we've kind of got to a stage now where people are just expecting that level of content and high quality that we're producing. So for me personally, I think it's to continue on that level and not to let that slip. And as we touched on before, it's big to reach new audiences. We need, for this club to grow, we can't just rely on the same 2,000-3,000 people coming through the gate. For us, me and Sean, we need to try and get into new areas and get new people through the door.
And this time next year, we want to be sitting looking at numbers of the likes of our league members and social media followers and seeing an increase, and obviously season ticket holders. Sam mentioned that we've gone up since last year, and we want to keep that going. We don't want to rest on our laurels and say, we've got more than last year, so we'll just pack in pushing season tickets. We want to get as many people coming in, whether it's turning people that are coming to games at the start of the season on a casual basis into season ticket holders. Those kind of things are what we're aiming to do. We're lucky in the sense that in the off season there's no distractions, there's no on-field performance that can affect the way that fans feel. So we have complete control over what we're putting out. So we've just got to be reactive to how the season goes, and then hopefully keep up the positive vibes that are going on social media and keep fans engaged.
And just tell us a little bit about match days. So I've heard some interesting stories about you two on away days in the cars and breaking down and all sorts of stuff, or delays, or having to set off dead early. People probably don't appreciate how much work you do behind the scenes on an actual match day in terms of covering the club.
Yeah, well, match days are sort of blur, to be honest with you. Well, yourself working here before that, it's just whirlwind. Away days are probably easier just because you've not got millions of things to do on home, team sheets, and running. Something always goes wrong in our office, so it's usually Sean or Sam, can you fix that? But we made a conscious effort at the start of last year that we wanted to make match days something a bit of an entertaining, and I think on social media we kind of did that, and we're trying to make a big effort again next year to try and make them more than just 80 minutes, because that's not how people consume rugby anymore, or sport as a whole, and you've got to make people want to come for more than the game, because basically, well, kids for example, you want them to come back. So whether that's Instagram story, we were big on that. Snapchat we could try to use, but the manner was.
Yeah, there's so many different things in there that you could possibly do. You've got to be realistic, I suppose.
Yeah, so we, like I said, we've just been trying to make it as high energy and positive as possible to make people want to come. So, well, in terms of getting to match day crashing down, I don't know where have you heard that from?
No, I can't possibly reveal my sources.
Well, we had a nice trip to York, didn't we?
Oh, that was
you can
lovely.
imagine me and Sam have to sit next to each other 5 days a week. You know, we get on each other's nerves
I can't stand
time to time, and then having to sit in a nice car journey all the way to York and then watch Widnes get beat wasn't a nice one on Easter Monday. So you know we have our differences on the way.
You
to
know we
some
missed the
games.
long trips anyway, don't you?
Yeah,
Missed Barrow last
I
year.
give Barrow on this last year.
I have to sit next to a Wiganer all day, so I feel your pain. How do you decide? How does that fit in the away days? Because I know some clubs don't mandate their media people to do away games.
Yeah.
Is that something that's mandated for you to do, or is that something that you guys really do out of the feel that it fits in with your wider job?
It's not. No one's ever said, well, that you have to do it. We kind of said if one of you wants to go, you can, and one you can alternate it weeks, but we've not really discussed it. But I think we're both quite happy going and doing the game. The games is what makes the job really.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, I always say you're working in sport for, you know, to go to the games, aren't you? At the end of the day, you wouldn't, if it wasn't for the actual sport that was happening on the pitch, you wouldn't have a job anyway.
If we're in and out of covering games, you know, you lose touch of the club and of what's going on. You know, if you're constantly at the game and covering them all, when you're putting your work out in the week, you know what you're going on about, and we both enjoy match days. It's probably the best part of the job. You know, walking out at Wembley was unbelievable, as we mentioned before, and going to these different grounds all over.
Yeah.
What about Sheffield? I've seen you both there with your laptops at Sheffield. That was an
with
interesting.
no desks.
Yeah.
That was absolutely wonderful.
The great people at Sheffield,
Yeah,
but that wasn't ideal.
But I think
You got the job done, though. You got the job done,
and we both enjoyed it. Like we've had some absolute disasters, but we've had some laughs and some good times along the way. The semi-final, the most unprofessional we've ever been in a press box. We had like the league coaching staff sat behind us, the RFL next to us, and as Jack runs round the fullback, me and him are jumping up and down, nearly throwing up on people through nerves and stuff. So, like I said, there's been more good times than bad, put it that way.
Yeah. Brilliant, thanks boys for inviting me to do this and for coming this side of the camera. And we all look forward to seeing what else you've got planned for 2020, and I think we're doing a few more of these as well, so keep an eye out for them on the club's official channels. Thanks for watching.